no correlation, then the importance. So we'll stop at long-term research and design.
And what did I say is longitudinal research design?
Is the track of a variable over an extended period to study change over time.
Okay. What example? Can you give me an example?
I think we look at the, what's it called now? We talk about following a group of, what's it called now? Care of children into adulthood. So in order to analyze that account of life, I think that.
Okay. Okay. So what did you say is the advantage of a non-experimental design and their limitations?
The advantage of a non-experimental.
Mm.
Okay. Let me think.
What about the advantage?
The advantage now, I think it is easy to what's it called to conduct.
Mm-hmm. It's less.
And at times,
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
it's what's it called now? What's it called now? It's provide empirical data. I think those are the things that I can really remember.
In the area of ethical visibility, there is no risk of harm.
Okay.
Most times there's no risk of harm to participants.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
then
yes.
it has a lower cost.
Okay.
It has a lower cost, doesn't cost so much when you compare it to
Yes,
experimental research design.
yes,
And
yes,
then
yes.
it's also less time consuming. It is usually for studying large populations. These are the things that
Population.
make it to be advantageous to all social workers. Lower cost, less time
Of course, yes, ma'am.
consuming, as you have in less time consuming, not consensual, less time consuming if you compare it to an experimental design type, and very useful for conducting large populations. However, it has limitations too,
Yes.
because one of the major limitations is you cannot establish cause and effect relationship.
Okay.
You can't say that this is the cause of this.
Yes.
So you cannot establish cause and effect relationship. Uh, And it's susceptible to bias and
Yes,
confounding
yes.
variables, yes.
Yes. Can
And
easily be influenced.
in some cases, the findings you get may lack generalization.
Okay.
Cannot really actually generalize it. So it cause usually anything you do that you cannot make a full generalization. It calls for further, research work to be done.
Slash work.
Mm. So today we'll look at action research design.
Okay, ma'am.
Action research design. In action research design, it is a collaborative and reflective approach It's a collaborative and reflective approach that tries to integrate theory, practice, and research all together. I will call it action, research, design in social work. It is always collaborative, encourages collaboration, and also reflective because it tries to integrate theory, practice, and research all together. And so it's usually conducted by practitioners.
Okay.
Practitioners, that is, people that are in the field carrying a social work practice. So it's usually most times conducted by practitioners,
Okay.
which makes it unique, making it
Okay.
unique, suitable for the social work context. And the primary aim of it is to bring about social change or improve practices through a cyclical process of planning. When you plan, you carry out the action, you observe, and then there is that reflection. So cyclical process. So it's expected that when we are in the field practicing social work, we
Okay.
should engage in action, research design, where we look at what we are doing and see if what we're doing is helping out, if we need a change in order to improve our practice. So in social work, action research
Okay.
is used to improve service delivery. It's used to improve
Service.
service delivery models. And then it also tries to address systemic problems such as we can look at child protection failures,
Mm.
or where you have case management inefficiencies. These are systemic problems. So when you carry out a research, the area of where your design is
Okay.
action research design, you try to use it to improve service delivery, address systemic problems, and at the same time, empower marginalized populations. We use it to empower marginalized
Ma-
populations through active involvement in the change process. So, one of the major key features of action research design is that it's a
Okay.
practitioner led. That is, practitioners actually use this practitioner led, and it's always context specific. We are looking
Okay.
at a specific issue, just as I mentioned,
Mm.
child
Child
protection failure.
protection failure.
Yes, where you are now asking question, why is there child protection failure? And you are in the field, so you want to investigate to find out why that failure. So it's in that case, you say it's context specific.
Mm.
It's also participatory. Action
Okay.
research design encourages participation. It's participatory and democratic. It's a playground for everyone that is involved in that system.
System. Okay.
Yes. And it's focused on practical problem solving and immediate application. So action research design is not where you're carrying out the research in order to generate a theory, or a theory has been established. You want to confirm if that theory is actually okay or not. But this one, in action research design, is focused on
What's
practical
the
problem solving.
problem solving?
How to solve it, like we've identified child protection failure. So now focus on that. And when you get the result, you change your style. Or if it is policy, you advocate for policy change. So there is this immediate application. So, and it involves repeating of circles of planning, acting, and reflecting.
Okay.
Yes. So, for example, if you have a social worker in a rural community, social worker in a rural community may engage in action research to co-develop a culturally appropriate mental health outreach. Appropriate mental health outreach model with local leaders and clients.
Mm.
So in that case, the social worker is not just working alone. He has to collaborate with the local
So the
leaders
community
of that
leader.
community. Yes, and also the clients. So
Okay.
in that case, the rural social worker now will engage in action research just to co-develop a culturally appropriate mental health outreach model with the local leaders of that community where she is serving. Then we have another design we call the participatory and community-based research. In this case now, this emphasizes equitable collaboration between the researchers and the community members. There's not so much difference between this and the action research. They are grounded in the principle of empowerment. When you talk about participatory research, we're looking at the area of empowerment, area of inclusion, and could also bring in co-learning, making them powerful tools for social justice
Mm.
and transformative practice in social work. And so the key features of participatory research and the community-based, participatory research and community-based research, you know, has research agendas that are to co-develop whatever program we have with the community stakeholders. Local knowledge is valued. We value
Okay.
local knowledge is
Knowledge. Yes,
valued,
ma'am.
yes, equally with the academic expertise. So,
Mm.
and then there's this emphasis on collective ownership, collective ownership of data and findings. So the collection of data is not just left for the researcher alone, but encourage collective ownership of data, you know, collection and findings. And at the end of the day, the outcome of it are designed to benefit the community directly. Benefit the
Mm.
community directly.
Well,
And that is why we call it participatory research. because the community stakeholders will all be involved. The local
Mm-hmm.
knowledge of that community is highly valid. You
Yeah.
value it so much, and then the it's all participatory. Everybody in that community is involved, and the
Yeah.
outcome of it is always designed to benefit that specific community directly.
Mm.
So, if you think of applying it in our social work practice, it has to be in the area of assessing the effectiveness of community welfare program. When you want to assess the effectiveness of community welfare program, you engage in this kind of design. You will not use experimental design, neither will you use a correlational design. No, 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 no.
It's not design.
But you look at a community-based research design. So it's also applied in social work in the aspect of identifying social determinant of health in underdeserved neighborhood, identifying the social determinants of health, and then designing interventions for um, uh, either youth empowerment.
Okay.
Yes, intervention like youth empowerment in the area of youth unemployment, or designing interventions for gender-based violence, where you
Mm-hmm.
discover when you carry out the research and you discover that there is gender-based violence in that specific community.
Okay.
You use the outcome to design interventions that will suit that community. If it is youth unemployment that is so much in that community, with the community-based research design, you will be able to come up with programs that will be specific, or the community will benefit directly.
Mm.
Yes, with input from the affected population. So they make
Yes.
input. You don't
Mm.
bring in every idea from outside. You work
Inside.
with them. And when that is done, it has a huge benefit. One of the major
Okay.
huge benefits in that is that it builds trust. It builds trust
Mm.
because the people in that community will not feel alienated. They will not.
Exactly.
Yes, they will be. They are happy. They are part of it.
Mm.
They are part of that your study. So they will try as much as possible to give in their best. So, and that builds trust and sustainability. Whatever is, if, in fact, you see them speaking more than yourself. They will be saying, in fact,
Mm.
we did this. In fact, we worked with the social worker. It's not only the social
Mm.
worker that did this finding, this investigation. We all worked together with her or with him. And see, they will
Mm.
boast about it because they've already built trust in you. And then whatever
Exactly.
that you found out, you see that sustainability too, because they will also join you to design the intervention that will help the community. So there is this ownership, a serious ownership. And once there is
Mm.
serious ownership of a program, you see, it encourages sustainability. You can say, yes, this project can be sustained, but where it is all from outside,
Outside. Yeah.
when you go, they just leave your project for you.
And I
And
think
so that,
it's a physical project, so they'll be ready to protect it.
yes, and once they protect it, you can be sure of sustainability.
Exactly.
Yes, and it increases relevance,
Wow.
yes, and acceptance of the findings because they are part of it. So you are not coming to tell them what they were not part of. They are using their
Exactly.
koro eye to see that, oh, this is where we are. And so they will accept the findings. and then encourages capacity building and long-term impact. But of course, in as much as it has benefits, it also has these challenges. So,
Mm.
one of the major challenge there is that it's time intensive and
Mm.
complex to manage. Because this one, you're saying that you're carrying everybody along. And for you to carry everybody, and you know what that means. It's time intensive. And then navigating power dynamics between researchers and the community. You know what I mean by power dynamic, navigating through
Yes,
power
yes,
dynamic, because you can actually go into a community where you see that the community is divided. There are cliques, there are
yes,
factions, one issue or the other. You
other,
know,
yes.
you have to, as a researcher now, you have to, as a social worker working in the
Mm.
community, you have to navigate through this power dynamics, that is going on. Then it
Mm.
requires flexibility. That is one of the challenges again. It requires flexibility in research timelines and methods. So you can't just you already know the methods of research, the different methods. So it requires
Yes.
some level of flexibility. You marry this method to this method to just see that everybody is being carried along. So
Mm.
the choice of I want to now conclude, because the choice of research design and methodology significantly affects the validity, the
Mm.
relevance, and the impact of social work research. You can see that I mentioned so many research
Yes,
designs.
yes,
So what you are carrying out, the research you have in mind to do, the investigation you want to do, when you have identified the problem, you sit down to ask yourself, what design should I use? So if you go to chapter 3 of every study, research
okay.
design is always 3.1. Is a key subheading in chapter 3. You must have a
Yes.
design. You ask yourself, this work, will I go experimental or will I go non-experimental? If I'm to go experimental, will it be a quasi experimental? If I should go non-experimental, okay, am I looking at the relationship between two things? Is it going to be correlational? Is it going to be a descriptive one? Is it going to be a longitudinal study?
Experimental.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be an
Mm.
action one? Is it going
Mm.
to be, should I use a method, a research
Participatory.
design that is community-based, participatory and all that? So the choice of your research design will significantly affect the validity of your work and
Mm.
also the relevance of your work. The longitudinal and the cross-sectional studies will always help describe and understand social issues from a temporary or a static perspective, while the action research design is
Mm.
such that will empower practitioners to refine interventions. Action research design will empower you practitioner to do what? To refine your intervention, because you want to bring a change and make an impact.
Yes.
And then and the participatory one, the participatory and community-based research design,
Mhm.
what does it do? It fosters inclusive.
Include
It
immediate
fosters,
action too.
yes, it fosters inclusive and justice-oriented inquiry. So together, these approaches, form the backbone of evidence-based and ethically grounded social work research. So we are done
Start
with
design.
research design. Another aspect Another aspect of research,
History,
social work
methodology.
research is sample, and the types of sampling technique. You've taken a design now, so another major area is sample and sampling technique. And what I mean by sampling, every research work will always every study will talk about sample or sampling. So, and the sampling is a fundamental aspect of research. Just know that word. Sampling is a
Mm-hmm.
fundamental aspect of research that involves selecting
Mm-hmm.
a subset, and that subset is what we call sample, a subset of individuals or a subset of items, from a larger population, just to draw inferences about that population. So it is an important aspect of research work, because when somebody picks up a study, interest goes to what design did this person use in carrying out this study. And after
Okay.
that, the person goes straight to what
Nothing.
sampling technique, what is the sample size, which is a subset of the population
Mhm.
that the person used, because that is where you draw inferences about that population. So a well-chosen sample, which I said is selecting a subset. So
Yes.
a well-selected sample or chosen sample can effectively represent the population, because we are going to draw inferences about that population. So if you take a chosen sample, you can effectively, that sample can effectively represent the population, thereby allowing you, the researcher, to do what? To conduct analysis with reduced time, with reduced cost
And
and
stress.
effort, yes, while maintaining accuracy.
Mm.
Mhm. So let's start with defining what a sample is. A sample is a portion, as I mentioned earlier, it's a subset, it's a portion of the population selected for the study. Because every study you want to carry out, you must ask yourself, which population am I studying?
Mm.
Because the population I'm going to study will determine the participants. Abi,
Mm-hmm.
am I correct?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, the participants or the respondents. And so, what is the size of this population? Is the population so large that I will not be able to cover? If it's a population that is large, then you bring in the idea of what? Choosing a portion from that target population that you have selected for the study. So the goal of this is to use information from the sample to generalize your findings to the broader population. So the quality of inferences drawn from a sample is largely dependent on how well the sample represents the population. The quality of inference that you're going to draw from a sample is largely dependent on how well the sample represents the population. So the importance of it, why we need to sample. Why? We need it because it is cost effective. Studying the entire population may be impractical or it may be impossible, true of us.
True.
Yes, because you might not have the money,
The resources,
the
the time.
time, you might not even be able to manage it. Manageability will become an issue.
Yeah.
And in fact, it won't look visible. Visibility will not be there. So
Yeah.
the importance of sampling is that is the area of what? Cost effectiveness. And then time efficiency. Because smaller samples can be analyzed faster. True of us.
Yes.
Yes, it can be analyzed faster. But when it is so much, you'll be battling with time. Can never finish. Then manageability is key. Focusing on a subset will allow you, the researcher, for more detailed, to have more detailed data collection and analysis. So you'll be able to manage your data. When data is so large, it becomes a problem to analyze. To start with, it will be a problem to collect. And then when you collect, it becomes a problem to do what? To analyze. So then feasibility. It enables research in cases where the entire population is inaccessible. There are populations that is so inaccessible, but you need to study that population. Take for instance, population of let me say drug addicts, or substance abuse youths that abuse substance.
Yes.
And you want to find out from them. You want to investigate why that abuse. Getting that population is so difficult. To start with, they are not in one place. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
They are not in one place. Meanwhile, it's a study you must carry out. So you need a sample. You need a portion of those people to do your work, to carry out your study. You need a portion. You might not get all of them, but you might need to get a handful that you can study, and your findings, you can use it to generalize, to make a general statement of why youths abuse drugs. So when we go on, you will know the sampling technique that you will use to get a good number of them to study, even though they are all not in one place. There are some studies that are so secretive that the individuals will not want to reveal.
Exactly.
But there is a technique you can use, and you get the people. You get a handful to study. So sample is very important, is key in our study when we are carrying out
Research.
research. So, having known what a sample is, that is a portion of the targeted population you've selected for the study. The goal is to use the information you get from that sample to generalize your what? Findings to the broader population. I used one word, targeted population.
Okay.
Let me give you an example now. What I mean by targeted population. If you go to the university is a population of
Yes, ma'am.
different people. You have the academic staff, you have the non-academic staff, you
Academic
have the
place.
students. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And now you want to carry out a study, take for instance, in my own university, River State University. And the study you want to carry out is about the students. Meanwhile, the population of River State University comprise the academic
Mix of
staff, the non-academic staff,
non-academic,
the students.
the student,
So,
and some others.
and some others. If my study is on students, the population in River State University, my target population will be what? The students.
On the student.
Yes. If it is non-academic staff, my target population in River State University will be what? The non-academic staff.
On the
So
non-academic
when we
staff.
are talking about population of study, what you should have in mind is targeted what? Population. The target population.
Population.
Because a place can have different types of people making up the population.
Mm, mm,
The question is, which one are you targeting?
targeting.
The one you are targeting becomes your target what? Population.
Population.
And it's that targeted population you have selected for the study that you are going to collect a portion. You are going to do what? Collect a portion
A portion.
for your study. That portion is the portion you will use to get information, which we call data. I hope you know that. Information is
Yes,
data.
ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And then the information you collect, you are going to use it. You are not going to drop it.
Mm.
You use the information to make a generalized statement after you've gotten your findings to the broader target population. So, and that takes us to another stage. So, if I am to take a portion, it then means that I will have a technique. One should have a method of collecting the portion. True of us?
Portion. True.
Yes. Eh? There must be a method. There must be a technique to collect this portion. And so that takes us to the next stage, which we'll call classification of sampling technique. Sampling techniques are broadly classified into two categories. Sampling techniques are classified what?
Into two categories.
Into categories. And they are: one, probability sampling technique. The second one is non-probability sampling technique. The spelling of non is N-O-N.
Mm.
probability sampling technique and non-probability sampling technique. These are the two broad categories. And it's called two, broad categories because under each you have types under them. So for the probability sampling technique, you have types under it. For the non-probability category, you have what?
Mm.
Types under
Types.
it. So each category has its own set of methods.
Mm.
And they also have their advantages. And they also have their potential drawbacks. So you have to listen attentively to understand them. So for the probability sampling technique, which
Mm.
is a major broad of category, am I correct? Which is a category. So in
Mm-hmm.
probability sampling technique, every member of the target population has a known no zero chance of being what? Selected.
Mm.
That is the probability. This approach tends to minimize bias and allows for the generalization of results with known levels of confidence. I take it again. When you talk about probability sampling method or probability sampling technique, every member of that target population has equal chance of being what? Selected to be to form the sample.
Okay.
Every member of that target population has the chance of what?
Being selected.
Being selected, being chosen. And when you do that, you minimize what? Bias.
Yes.
You minimize bias. And there will be generalization of the results with known level of what? Confidence. So if every member of that target population should be given equal chance of being selected, it then means that we should have types of this non-probability sampling category. Because population can be so large, but that it is very impossible for you to say every member has to be given equal chance of being selected. True or false?
True.
Mhm. So that means that there are different types of methods
Mm.
that will guarantee everyone being given, note that word, every member of that target population is given the chance of being selected to form that sample population, that sample size. You remember that I said sample is a portion.
Yes.
Mhm. So the very first one we normally call is simple random sampling. Simple random sampling is under probability sampling technique category number 1. Remember, we have two broad categories: probability sampling
Yes.
technique and
Probability. And
non-probability.
non-probability.
Mhm. So for the non, to define the non means it's opposite of the probability. The non-probability is that not every one in that target population is given the equal chance of being what? Selected.
Yes.
Are you getting me? So,
Yes, ma'am.
so the simple now, and I pick the first one we normally pick simple random sampling, which is under the category of what? Probability sampling technique method. In simple random, every member of the target population has an equal chance of being what? Selected.
Okay.
So I say, imagine a bowl containing 10 numbered balls. Just imagine a bowl. You know what I mean by a bowl?
Yes, ma'am.
A bowl or a bag that
Or a
contains
basket.
100 numbered balls. 100 numbered balls. You numbered them or you colored them, or either you numbered the balls or you colored the balls. What do you do there? You randomly draw 10 balls, and maybe what the out of the 100 you want to use 10 balls. You want to use 10 balls,
Mm.
or you call the balls individual. You enter a you enter a class. You enter a class of female students, and that class has about 100 girls. You have 100 what? Girls.
Yes.
Or let me reduce the number. You have about 50 girls, or let me say 30 girls. And you want to give 1,000. You want to give 1,000 naira to 10 girls out of the 30 girls
Mm.
in that room, in that classroom of 30 girls. And they want to give one naira, I mean 1,000 to 10 girls. How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it without bias?
You you just pick them randomly.
So what do you mean now? How are you going to pick them randomly? Because you will apply random. You will apply the simple random. So how are you going to do it? You have to explain what you mean by you will apply simple random technique to get the 10 of them that you're going to give 1,000. What will you do?
Gathering them together, you just pick one of them.
Eh. So you pick them according to their color. Maybe you like yellow person,
No.
or you like short person.
No, not at all.
So how are you going to pick? Now you're going to pick. What will be your criteria of picking the 10 people? Or anyone you just look at, the one that will just smile at you, it's okay, I pick you.
No, not that. That means it's biased then.
So tell me what you
Picking
do now.
interest.
Hmm?
I think we pick without maybe looking at them. They just pick any one of them without maybe having any interest at a particular
So,
person or a particular color or a particular
oh,
listener.
so you are going to tie your eyes. Are you going to tie your eyes so that you don't look at their faces? You just be picking them. Tell me now.
It depends, ma'am.
It depends on what now. We are trying to arrive at what you mean by simple random. Simple random selection. Eh? Okay, let me tell you now how you are going to do it. Very
Okay, ma'am.
simple way. And that makes it simple random.
Random.
Because the population is small, they are just 30. And you have 1,000 naira to give.
10.
And you have 10,000 naira to give 1,000 to. You will apply simple random technique. What you will do, you take a paper. Hmm?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
take a paper and write. You can decide to write yes, no, yes, no. You can decide to write yes in 3 papers. In 10 papers. And the rest, 20 will be no, 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 no. Abi?
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm. And then you rumple the papers. Rumple them. Rumple them into balls. Put them inside a bag. Then when you rumple them and pour inside the bag, you shouldn't be the one that will pick it. You just tell all of them that are standing. Let them pick one. You put your hand, pick one. You put your hand, pick one. You put your hand, pick one. Until 30 of them will pick. Then they open. When they open their papers, okay, the ones that have yes, come this way. The ones that have no, come this way. Is it your fault? By the time you now pick get the 10 people that picked yes, and you carry 1,000 and give to them, is it your fault that the people that some people picked no?
No.
Will the people
No, no.
that picked no blame you?
Not at all.
Which means you did it without bias. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is what we call simple random sampling technique. So if you are not to pick, if it is for a study, if it's for a study, if you are to give them questionnaire, if they are students and you want to give them questionnaire to fill for you, or you want to interview them, those ones that picked yes are the ones you are going to give questionnaire.
Yes.
And that is the simplest way to explain simple random. I was trying to use a ball, and I say, imagine a bowl containing 100 numbered balls, and you want to randomly draw 10 balls. Looking at it that the balls represent individuals, you have to give them that equal chance of being what?
Sure.
Chosen.
Chosen.
So selecting 100 voters randomly from a city voter list to survey about political preference. Just imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
You go to their voters list, and then you get the names, write them out, rumple them, and drop and pick the 10 that you want. Those people you picked are the people that you are going to use. So one thing about simple random sampling technique is that you don't use it when you have a very large population. And you don't also use it where you have a mixed population. You know what I mean by mixed population? Like population where you have girls, you have boys, or you have a different age, different ages. And so you need to make sure you factor all the ages. If you use it where you have boys and girls, this method I've talked about, you may be when the people that picked yes may be boys all through.
Could be one-sided, yes. Could be
It will
one-sided.
be lopsided, yes. So it is done where the population is you are not looking at a particular sense or something. If you want to get information from the boys and you want to get information from the girls, you will not use simple random. Because in course of selecting from the bag, it could boys only will pick yes or girls only will pick yes. In that case, what do? There is another method that you are going to use. And that method we call it stratified. We call it stratified sampling technique. In that case, the population is divided into what? Strata. Based on the characteristics of that population. The characteristics could be a population that is characterized by age or income level or sex. So if it's a class where you have or a population where you have boys and girls, you will divide them into strata, that is into subgroups, group of boys, group of girls. If it is one that is characterized by age, you group them according to their ages. If it's the one that is characterized by income level, you know what I mean by income level? Some people are poor, some people are rich, some people are in the middle class. It characterizes them by that. And then you draw your sample from each stratum. You make sure that you collect the individuals from each what? Stratum. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes,
like if you want a study of educational achievement might divide students into stratum, into strata based on grade level. And then you now randomly select participants from each grade. Then we have the type again, still under probability. We have the systematic sampling. Systematic sampling involves selecting every either ninth individual from a list rather than a random starting point. After a random starting point. So if a researcher has a list of 1,000 names, that's if you have a list of 1,000 names and you want to select 100, what will you do? You will choose every 10th name after you have randomly selected a starting point between 1 and 10.
Yeah.
So for you to use systematic sampling technique, which is under probability category, you must have a list a list of, names of that target population. A list of that target population. You must know their total number.
Okay.
You must know their total number. Because it's with their total number you will use the number you want to get and divide. And that is why I use the very simple figure, 1,000 names, list of 1,000 names. And you want a sample of 100. So it means that you choose every 10th person until you arrive at what? 100 persons. And that is systematic sampling technique.
Yes.
Then you have you can see that there are different types being
Under
applied.
probability.
So, yes. So your study is what will let you know which type of under probability are you going to use.
Mhm.
Then we have the fourth one called cluster. Cluster, as the name implies, cluster. You know the meaning of cluster.
Yes.
The population is divided into clusters. That is why it's called cluster sampling technique. The population is classified into cluster, and there is often a geographical clustering. It's often geographical clustering. And the entire clusters are randomly selected. So all individuals within chosen clusters are then studied. I say, like imagine a map divided into districts. We have a map that is divided into districts. A few districts are randomly selected, and every household within those districts is included in the sample.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you want to probably look at studying regional health outcomes. Regional health outcomes. Regional.
Yes.
You, the researcher, may randomly select several towns in that region. That's you're clustering them, and you survey all residents within them. I'm sorry. Then we'll have multi-stage sampling. Multi-stage sampling. This one is a complex form of cluster sampling where multiple sampling methods are applied in stages. Did you get me? Multiple
Yes.
sampling methods. Multiple sampling methods are applied in what? In stages. That is why it's called multi-stage sampling. For instance, you first selecting the clusters, then using simple random sampling within those clusters. Are you getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
I give you an illustration. Like I say, first, districts are chosen randomly. Eh? And the next thing you will do
Yes,
when you
ma'am.
have chosen them randomly, the next thing will be from each district, neighborhoods are selected randomly. And then finally, you now come to what? The households within those neighborhoods, which you will also randomly do what? Sample.
Select.
They normally do that when they are carrying out national surveys, such as household income studies. There we often use multi-stage sampling to ensure diverse and representative samples across regions. Then we'll come to the non-probability sampling technique. Let me end here because the class is not full. Eh?
Yes, ma.
Okay. So you
Mm.
go study it. When we come to next class on Saturday, you
Okay,
will
ma.
hopefully the class be full, and then you will teach your colleagues. Let me hear you and get how much you're able to grasp from what we studied today. You are supposed to be
Okay,
four
ma.
in number. I think you are supposed to be four in number.
I think yes, about
And
4.
it's just you alone, which is very, very, very poor. And I wouldn't want to cancel the class because you that have made that time and myself made that time to have this class, we shouldn't
Mm.
just stay because of others and not have the class. That
Mm.
is why I held this
Thank you,
class
ma.
with you. So next
Thank
class,
you, ma.
I want you to show understanding of what you have learned today.
Okay, ma.
And
No
then
problem, ma.
in summary, you will just, I don't say you go in detail, but in summary, you give us the class, and then I continue with non-probability sampling technique.
Okay, ma.
All right, thank you, and have a great day.
Yes, ma. You too, ma.
All right, thank you. But
Have a wonderful weekend, ma.
do you have any question to ask?
It's well explanatory, ma. I love
Okay,
the system of your teaching, ma.
okay, that is fine. All
Definitely.
right,
Yes, ma.
thank you.
Thank you,
Well,
ma'am. Enjoy
all
your weekend,
right,
ma. Yes, ma.
thank you. So I end the
Yes,
class,
ma.
eh?
Bye, ma.
Bye.
Yes,